Hello there. March is known as MS Awareness Month, and it's almost the end of March, and I haven't really done any talking about it. So today, I'm going to share my story. I'm drinking the roasted coffee pu'er. Pu'er tea is a fermented tea, so it's got a little bit more robustness, as well as coffee. I know if you know me, I don't like coffee, but I dig this, and it's delightful. It's tasty. It smells really good. Anyway, for MS Awareness Month, I want to share my story. I've told people the quick versions, but I never really shared how I was feeling or that whole long process of when it started, of how I came to be with MS. So I wrote my little story down. I remember driving back to Iowa for Christmas back in 2018. I was in the passenger seat, and every time I tried to get comfortable, specifically moving my neck, there'd be an electric tingle shock all the way down my spine. I wrote it off as being tired and cramped. But then it kept happening every so often well after the holidays. So it happened when I do this, and it happens now when I get stressed or overworked. I bend my neck, and then I get that shock sensation down my spine. I probably should have seen a doctor, right? But it was a bit annoying, and I functioned normally otherwise. Then comes the time where Shane and I are looking for a house or condo to buy in Colorado. I don't remember exactly when it started, but probably sometime in March or April, I began getting dizzy. And it wasn't too bad until I started to feel like I was drunk, even though I hadn't drank any alcohol at all. I couldn't even barely turn my head without my world turning upside down. Vision was blurry and making me dizzy, like really bad vertigo, you know, when you go to the nosebleed seats and you're like, whoa. But this is like times 100, if not more, depending, but that kind of gives you a glimpse. I then thought it was my prescription glasses. I was more than likely in denial of it being more serious. So I set up a doctor's appointment, an eye doctor appointment, and couldn't read anything out of my left eye. It just went, everything was blurry, I couldn't read anything out of my left eye. I could cover my left eye and read out of my right eye just fine. But if I had both eyes open, it was no go. Like, it was everything in the world was on the ship. Probably shouldn't have been driving either, but here we are. No matter how hard I tried, Shane later then told me how long I was actually in with that eye doctor. Granted, it was America's Best, so very budget friendly. I didn't have eye insurance at the time, and he said I was in with the eye doctor for a very long time. They tried their best to figure it out. They couldn't find anything, so they referred me to an eye specialist. And I went back and forth to see this eye specialist, doing every test under the sun at this eye specialist. And she still couldn't come up with anything. All my tests came back normal, like they were fine, they were good, blah, 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 blah. And then she started asking me if I had noticed any numbness or tingling. And again, I was in denial because I didn't want it to be worse. And I just kind of shook off the tingling neck sensation, and I didn't. She blah 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 blah. She had told me that what was happening could be optic neuritis, and that means behind my left eye, the nerve that connects the brain to the brain tissue is swollen, inflamed, and so that could be possibly what was happening. And she said then that would most likely be MS, multiple sclerosis. Again, I was in denial. I didn't want that to be true, so I just kind of brushed off. I was like, okay, let's go do, she ordered an MRI, let's go do the MRI. After 3 hours in an MRI machine and a week later, I got a phone call that changed the rest of my life. She told me there were lesions spotted on my brain, in my neck, and in my eye nerve. And I was, in fact, had optic neuritis. And it was likely MS, but she couldn't say as she wasn't a neurologist, but she had an inkling, she knew. My heart stopped completely. I don't know if I dropped my phone or what. I still weirdly have the voicemail on my phone just for a reminder, I guess. I don't know. Not that I need it, but I was bawling. I listened to this voicemail. I was bawling. Shane doesn't know yet, but he could feel it wasn't good news. I said to him that his wish will come true because he always joked that I would be an old lady with a walker with the tennis balls. It was our little joke. And I cried and laughed trying to make light of the situation. Jokes aside, he hugged me tight, wiped away my tears, and told me he wasn't going anywhere. We were gonna do this together. And that made it hurt a little bit less. And he even came with me to my first neurologist appointment, where it was confirmed I had MS and needed to start treatment. And I know I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about it, but it's been since 2019 that I was diagnosed. And I've only had one relapse, which is incredible. But it changed my life forever. It taught me to slow down, taught me to take care of my body, to listen to my body. I was even in denial of having a disability for a long time, even after getting diagnosed. But it's true, I do. I have a disability. You may not be able to see it when you first look at me. And I listen to myself, I advocate for myself. And it changed my perspective, it changed my world, and Shane has been my rock, and I have hard days too. I need a lot of rest, and I've taken up hobbies, I've grieved things that I can't do anymore. Like, I probably won't ever ride a roller coaster again, but that's okay. I've had my fun, and I find new adventures to do. So, MS Awareness Month, just, if you can donate, I know money's tight for a lot of people right now, but if you would like to donate, please donate to help cure MS. I would greatly appreciate it. Those that are struggling with MS a little harder than I am would also appreciate it. And it feels good to share my story. Thanks for listening.